Let's talk about the dividend news this week. We're going to review 25 companies rapid fire style so you get all the info that you need about your current or future investment prospects, because I'm going to share 10 companies with dividend decreases, 9 increases, 3 dividend declarations, 1 company has announced a repurchase plan, 1 supplemental dividend, and 1 has changed its frequency. And we're going to start right here with Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico. How did I do with that? Ticker symbol is PAC, and they've announced a dividend of $2.08.9. The ex-dividend date will be May 16th with a pay date on May 30th. Lennox is raising their dividend by 3.8%, forward yield of 1.55%, ex-dividend date June 29th with a pay date on July 14th. The first of our decreases comes from TPG, who has announced a reduction by 60%. The forward yield is 2.94%, ex-dividend date May 24th with a pay date on June 5th. Columbia Banking Systems has announced a 20% increase in their dividend. The forward yield is 7.81%. They go ex-dividend May 30th with a pay date on June 15th. Unfortunately, TableTrack has announced a decrease in their dividend by 50%. The forward yield is 0.94%. Ex-dividend date May 30th with a pay date on June 22nd. Star Bulk Carriers has announced a 41.6% decrease from their prior dividend. The forward yield is 7.7%, ex-dividend date June 6th with a pay date on June 27th. Stockyards Bancorp has announced an extension of the company's stock's repurchase plan with a new expiration date of May 22nd of 2025. So far, they've repurchased 259,000 shares out of the 1 million shares that were authorized. Northrop Grumman has announced an 8.1% increase to their dividend. The forward yield of 1.72%, ex-dividend date is May 26th with a pay date on June 14th. DHT Holdings has announced a decrease to their dividend of 39.5%. They went ex-dividend already on May 17th, but the pay date will be on May 25th. Helmerich & Payne has declared their 25-cent dividend and a supplemental cash dividend of 23.5 cents per share. The forward yield is 3.25%. Ex-dividend date was on May 17th, the pay date coming up on June 1st. Newell Brands announced a 69.6% decrease in their dividend. The forward yield is 3.02% with an ex-dividend date coming up on May 30th. The pay date is June 15th. Paycom announced this week that they are initiating a dividend of 37.5 cents for each share that the shareholders have. The forward yield will be 0.55%, ex-dividend date May 26th, with a pay date on June 12th. P10 has announced an increase in their dividend by 8.3%, forward yield of 1.29%, ex-dividend date May 26th, with a pay date on June 20th. Ammo Incorporated has announced a 2.2% increase in their dividend, the forward yield being 9.26%. They go ex-dividend May 30th with a pay date on June 15th. QFi Technology has announced this week a revision in their dividend policy, and they're moving from a quarterly basis payment to a semi-annual basis instead. LyondellBasell is raising their dividend by 5%. Forward yield is 5.55%. Ex-dividend date May 26th with a pay date on June 6th. Genesis Land Development Corporation has declared a special dividend of 8.5 cents per share. The ex-dividend date is May 25th and the pay date June 12th. KKR & Company has announced a 6.5% increase from their prior dividend. They have a trailing yield of 1.26%. Go ex-dividend on May 19th, or I should say they went ex-dividend on May 19th, and they have a pay date on June 6th. Innospec has announced a 6.2% increase from their prior dividend. The trailing 12 months yield is 1.36%. The ex-dividend date was May 19th and the pay date on May 31st. But a word of caution, Seeking Alpha is noting that IOSP is at high risk of performing badly. And it's time to talk about all the royalty trusts. And we're going to start here with Hugoton Royalty Trust, who has announced a decrease in their dividend by 19.1%. The forward yield is 9.84%, ex-dividend date May 30th with a pay date of June 14th. A 49.2% decrease in the dividend from San Juan Basin Royalty Trust. Forward yield is 8.08%, ex-dividend date May 30th with a pay date of June 14th. Marine Petroleum Trust is reducing their dividend by 30.8%. Forward yield of 5.86%, ex-dividend date May 30th with a pay date on June 28th. Cross Timbers Royalty Trust is reducing their dividend by 24.3%. Forward yield of 10.77%, ex-dividend date of May 30th with a pay date of June 14th. Torm is reducing their dividend by 43.6% ex-dividend date of May 22nd with a pay date on June 6th, and of note, the yield in the trailing 12 months is 16.31%. Permian Basin Royalty Trust is raising their dividend by 65.4%, giving them a forward yield of 2.22%. The ex-dividend date is May 30th and the pay date on June 14th. Each week, I keep track of all the dividend increases, decreases, new dividends declared, stock repurchases, and any supplemental cash dividends. You can see all that information right here. I'll leave a link in the comments below so that you can take a peek at the spreadsheet if you're so inclined. And if you find benefit from all the data that I pull from Seeking Alpha, there's an affiliate link below in the comments. Come back every weekend for the dividend news. And until then, take a peek at this video next.